Hello everybody, how are you doing? This is Sergeant Scruffy here, playing a game called Kerbal Space Program. Woo! Start game. And basically, space program, as you can probably guess, get into space and whatnot, land on planets, do tests, sciencey stuffs, start new, and there's a sandbox and career mode. So I'm gonna want to name this Scruffy's Career. Also, if you hear me talking to someone, that's just because it's my brother. We're both playing Kerbal Space Program at the moment. And what flag looks good to me? Last time I used Trippy, so I think I'm just gonna go with stripes this time. I don't know. Kerbal Moon flag. There we go. Now let's hit start. Career mode, basically you have to spend science points and you gradually upgrade your stuff. Like with this, you'll see what I mean by we barely have any parts. These pages are normally full, so let's get the command pod, Mark 1. This is basically my first sciencey mission and whatnot. And I'm gonna want to get a... No, let's just get one of these. And then I'm just going to show you the parachute and the communitron. This is important because it sends data back to the base. Just going to plop it on. OCD, need to plop it on right here. There we go. Now this is called Noob Science Mark 1. I don't really like the Roman numerals, even though they're kind of fun to play with and whatnot, but yeah. I don't really like using them because in my head they get really complicated after like 10. Like XIV, X3, 5, 96. Yeah. It's complicated in my head. Anyways, it lags a little bit when I'm launching, but other than that, we're good. Now this is SAS. I'm not really sure what it stands for, but basically it keeps your ship straight while it's flying. Not much of a ship, but let's go ahead and do a crew report while we're here. Scientific value 1.5. I want to transmit the data. Starting transmission. See the communitron, it extends out. And you'll notice that my electric charge has decreased dramatically. Now if I just hit space and... Common mistake, I completely forgot to do the staging. I'm quite newbie when it comes to this game, so here we go. Boom. But that's good, because I can do a crew report, and I can keep the data. EVA. Extra vehicular... Oh, nice. Sorry, my brother just made a VTOL, which is a vertical takeoff or landing. Take surface sample. Keep data. Then I want to store experiments and grab on, and I want to get back in. Now I'm going to go to the Space Center. This gets me a little bit of extra science, which I'll show you that science here in a minute. I need to go ahead, click on that. It's don't even know what it's called, but anyways, I click on this, and down here it says recover or fly. Fly brings me back to the ship right there, but recovering it gets me some science. 14.6 science earned on this mission, and it gives you a little report on what's happened and what you got. Crew report from Launchpad, only 0.6 science. The surface sample from Launchpad is 9.0 science. Quite nice. Recovery of a vessel that survived a flight, 5 science. Now, if you just keep on doing the same thing over and over, the scientific value goes down. But I'm pretty sure I have enough for the first thing that I need. The first scientific breakthrough, I suppose. Click on this, and it's worth 5 science, and I have 16 science. I'll get the FLT 400 fuel tank, which is better. The FLT 100 fuel tank, which is smaller. The Mystery Goo containment unit, trademarked. Yeah, this unit was something one of our engineers came upon while dumpster diving, while researching alternative applications for existing technologies. It's a sealed container which appears to be filled with a strange-looking substance. We couldn't reach in or break the canister open, but watching how the goo behaves when subjected to different situations could be very educational. And then the TR18A stack decoupler, which is very important. It separates our stages a lot easier. Then it branches off into a tree, and 15 signs down here for this, and I only have 11. 18 signs, again only 11, and 20 signs, and I only have 11, and they give you different parts for every upgrade that you get. So if we come back in here, you'll see that I have more parts. Let me go ahead and hit new. Then I'm going to come over here to the propulsion. I have the bigger fuel tank. Now I need to slap on that engine. And what I'm going to want to do actually is place this right here. And if you notice down here, it separates stuff. So if I come over here to the parachute, put it on there, you'll notice that the command pod and the parachute are now on the same stage. This separates the stages, so I'm just going to move this up here so that it's more fluid. Well, actually, I'm going to plop that down here, and the engine is right there. Yep. Alright, so my brother just found out something interesting that I hadn't known either, and I hadn't heard of anyone doing this. In your command groups up here, action groups, you can set up a crew report. I'm going to click on the pod, and I can set a crew report. Every time I press the button 1, I will do a crew report, which helps out tremendously rather than having to right-click on this. Maybe your ship is spinning out of control and you'd think, for some odd reason, it's a good idea to do a crew report. You can go ahead and do that. And then the mystery goo. Very important in this, because it gives you a lot of signs. So let's just plop that down there. We'll go ahead and do the signs from that. Now this decouples, so it separates that stage. I want to come back here to my propulsion, and this is going to be, here, I'll just plop that right there. Bring this up, and now I'm going to need my solid rocket boosters. Place that there, and come over here to my solid fuel booster. Probably not going to get any lift off, but this is just for an example. So I normally do this just so that I can have better torque when I first start out. That way you have better turning speed. Alright, now no point in saving this. I'm going to go through and make sure all my staging is correct. This is the main booster. The decoupling from that, the second rocket. Then once that decouples, I'll have these, or this booster right here. You can't see it because it's inside some fairings, I want to say. The mystery goo container, and then the 2 extra command pods that will help me turn and rotate. So if I were to launch, and like I said, this takes a while to set up to the launch, and if I were to press T once it starts up to turn on the SAS, I can... Now this is a solid rocket booster, so you don't really need to throttle up. You hit space and it goes. So I should be going straight up for the moment. And now for some reason it has been wobbling a lot when I do solid rocket boosters. I don't have any gimbaling, which allows the engine to turn to counteract the force, I guess. But see, if you look down here, it says solid fuel, and it's running down, and engines do overheat and explode in this. So I want to hit space on that, and now I can throttle up, and I'm at full throttle right now. And basically I'm just going to keep on going up. Oh yeah, I might as well do a crew report doing the command group. So let's transmit the data, why not? Now these engines they also generate power, so I can transmit and regain the power, which is tremendously helpful. If I were to observe the mystery goo, I want to transmit that. And come on, hurry up and run out. I want to observe this. And might as well transmit it again. Get as much science out of it as we can. Okay, now I'm up where I want to be. And now I can start doing my orbital turn, which I do this kind of weird. I lead this, don't even know what that's called, that green thing right there. Not sure if my mouse is turned on or if you can see it. But if I lead it up to around 30,000 or 30 kilometers up here. Oh, I can't go to kilometers, but anyways, if I lead it up to 30 kilometers, this should be at 80,000, yep. And when I get to my apoapsis or apo-key, I can do my orbital burn, but I have almost no fuel left, so probably just gonna let that go. Want to do a crew report. Keep data. Observe mystery goo. Seems to be getting very cold right now. Gonna transmit at that. And now when I'm up here in my apoapsis, if I go ahead and time warp up there, time warping is so much fun and buggy. You can tear your ship to pieces. This is your nav ball, by the way. It helps you navigate when you're in orbit. Okay, I just wasted the last of my fuel so that I could do this. Now that I'm up here, I'm going to observe the mystery goo. And into a sphere, and it has become brittle. I'm going to want to transmit that. And I'm going to want to observe it again, and I'm going to keep the data this time. I'm also going to do an EVA report. Keep data, and I want to store the experiments. Now I want to enter this, and I can hit space. And next time I hit space, my parachute will activate. Now, if you notice, there is one over here, it's RCS. It helps you maneuver in space. So now I'm basically just going to want to warp back down into Kerbin's atmosphere. Now, something very pretty happens through here. They actually were nice and added in re-entry effects. It's very pretty in my opinion. Just going to sit here and enjoy this. Sorry, I just love how that looks. I'm going to want to deploy my chute. I'm getting the Mach effects from coming in so fast. And basically, I'll just slowly fall to Kerbin's surface. There's my little spacecraft falling. Not going to splash because I'm too high up. It might splash actually, maybe. How do I get rid of that? No. Keep data, that's right. See, now, this whole point 22 is all new to me. The, career mode, that is. I just call it the career mode update. But, parachute, it worked. Yay. Now, I'm gonna go down because I know, since this is sea level, it's gonna be, you know, pretty low in my, elevation. So I'm gonna slow down now and continue falling the rest of the way. Also, you can do an IVA, which shows everything that you need. You have your thrust, like if I were to throttle up, it would push it up. I believe you can also click on it and drag it, yep. And as you can see, we have landed because we are 0 meters. Yeah, well, 0 meters from the surface up there. And we're moving at 0 meters a second, and right here, normally we'd be up at the top right there, but since we're just floating in the water, there it is. If I hit T and what is it? It's C to get out of that. You can see that we have landed. I could do an EVA, but that's crew report, cancel. Okay, so what I'm going to want to do is go to the Space Center and retrieve it. And as soon as I retrieve it, that will be it for episode 1. And now, cover, let's see what we got. 19.5 science earned on this mission, 45 science. Recovery of a vessel after a suborbital flight, 8 science. EVA report from space just above Kerbin's water, 8. Crew report from Kerbin's upper atmosphere, 3.5 science. Not bad. And